Fallout fanatics to the long-awaited and long-promised video on my personal favorites of mods, ones that I cannot live without, ones that are necessities, and ones that are just plain fun. So, if you are new to PC modding, you are going to need a few things to get yourself started. One is, where the heck do you go to get mods? Right here, Nexus Mods. Great community for a collection of mods, not just for Fallout 4, but basically just about any video game, PC video game you could think of that has mods. This is where you're going to go to find just about anything. From the crazy and kooky to the absolute necessities for things that fix broken games. Great place. There are other places. This just happens to be where I go to get all mine. This is also where I host some of the few mods that I have put out myself, which aren't essentially mods. They're just blueprints for Fallout 4 so that you can actually download some of the settlements that I have built. So when you go to get started, you're going to need a few things. One is, as I said, you need to know where to go. And to really get serious about modding Fallout 4, you're going to want the Fallout 4 script extender, and you're probably going to want some sort of mod manager program. I used to use, let me go back to my desktop here, I used to use Vortex. I've just recently, within the last month or so, switched over to Mod Manager 2. Mod Organizer 2. And I like this program better. The other one was okay, but I feel like this one seems to do a better job, so I've recently switched over to this one. So now when you're using Fallout 4 Script Extender, you have to make sure you're using the right one for the version of the game that you are playing. Right now I am using this one here. This is the most recent version of it for game version 1.10.984. Now, if you're wondering how you figure out how to do that, we're actually going to go into my full-on game folder because I don't have a shortcut on my desktop, and I'll explain that in a moment. But you go to your Fallout 4 executable, right-click, and then you want to go to Details, and you can see right here is the product version 1.10.984. That matches that, and there you go. So what do you do with that? I personally recommend doing a manual download of the Fallout 4 script extender. This is the one that works best by doing this. I found that even with using some of the mod managers, they don't always install it correctly. But it's pretty much self-explanatory. Once you get into it, you open up the file, and actually I do have a folder here of all of the mods that I have installed on Fallout 4, and I'll explain why I do that in a second. So let me see if I should have this one in here. Fallout 4 script extender. We're actually going to extract this one. So we're going to go extract to, and I'm going to keep the same name as that folder. And down here is where it is. Now if we come into here, this is all the stuff that we need to copy. Basically just going to do that. Actually, well, except for those guys there. You can take all of this here and copy that and paste it directly into this folder here. So if you go into your programs, Steam Apps Common, Fallout 4, you post that in here, that creates that data folder, and that also gives you this guy here. This is going to be your new executable. You don't want to use your shortcut from your desktop here at any point from this point on. Anytime you want to use these mods, you want to actually come in here, you want to copy that, paste a shortcut to your desktop. That's why you see Fallout New and Fallout Old. This is the old version of the game that I broke, or I should say that Steam broke on me, or maybe it was Bethesda, and it no longer works, and so that's when I started using the Mod Organizer 2 program and created this whole new thing, and that's what I run off of now. This is essentially the executable here, but if you're going to be using this mod manager, you don't even want to use that. You want to run it through here. After you install it, you got to set up your shortcuts here. Coming into here, you hit edit, and it's basically just finding the program shortcut, which is the one that we have on our desktop. You just link it into here, you click OK, and there you go. Pretty simple. If you're not 100% sure on what I just said, there are tons of videos that show you how to do this. I'm not really here trying to show you how to install all these mods, just showing you how to get started. And then we're going to go over real quick my whole list of mods here that I absolutely cannot live without. So now that you have your Fallout 4 script extender installed, you are ready to go with mods. As I said before, I have all of these mods saved here, and I do manual downloads from them. You can set it up so that when you're doing it off of the website, that you just install them directly from the website to your mod manager program and then right into the game. One of the reasons why I now manually download all these is just in case one reason or another the mod disappears off of the website, I now have a backup. And so I save them here on my desktop, and then eventually I do put them into like a CD or something so that I have like a permanent backup of these mods just in case they ever disappear or Nexus Mods disappears. I think they just recently got bought or sold, and who knows what the future holds for that. You know, if anything gets put behind a pay curtain or something like that, paywall, sorry. I don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. So I've just been downloading all the ones that I absolutely necessarily need, and I keep backups of them, and I kind of suggest that you do the same thing. So, what mods do I have? Don't worry, we're actually going to get into the game at some point as well, just so we can check out the mods. I'm going to go through the list real quick to point out some of the big ones that I absolutely need and love, and then we'll go into the game and do some demonstrations for them so you can see why. Script extender, we already went over that. Cheat terminal, absolutely necessary. Need this one, love this one, especially if you do a lot of building. Super, super handy. Allows you to add all kinds of stuff. Settlers to your settlements. You can change the time, the weather, all kinds of stuff. A really, really, really big helper. No limits jetpack. It's not really necessary for building, but it actually does help if you don't install something like Workshop Plus, which allows you to fly around. You can use something like that so that you can actually fly around just continuously, and it won't drain your action points as well. Let's see. Place Fallout 4. This is most likely place anywhere. Hugely needed mod. This will allow you to place anything anywhere. You won't be getting the red, highlight around your objects anymore, so as you're trying to place things and saying you can't put that here. No, that is all gone. Workshop Plus is what I was just talking about. Hugely need this one as well. This is going to help you fly around. This is going to help you build things so much faster. No twigs. This one is basically just to help keep frame rates better, essentially. And it also takes twigs out of your settlements, so you don't have those annoying, stupid twigs sticking up through your floors. Let's see, no bloodworm. That's not necessary for building, but if you ever have problems where you're inside like Vault 88, for example, and you do want to build there and the game crashes on you constantly, get this mod here. And we'll actually go visit this one on the page. This one will remove the ability of the mole rats and scorpions and all that kind of stuff. Removes their ability to go under the ground and teleport, because this will actually cause your game to crash when you're in Vault 88 trying to build, because these suckers are teleporting in and out, and it just conflicts with building, essentially. So that's a huge fixer right there. Let's see, no idiot savant noise. I just hate that, so that's put in there. We have some fixers here. Settlement menu manager. Very important once you start putting in all kinds of different mods that want to alter your main menus. That's going to help you out big time. Same thing, master plan. That's going to get you things like cabin in the woods and castle in the sky, all that kind of stuff. Excuse me. Constructible ship, that'll make it so you can actually build the USS Constitution. These are just helpers. Some of these things are essential that when you download some mods, they say you need to download others to work with them. Those are types of things that pop up, like address library. Unlimited settlement budget. So this will allow you to build as much as you want inside a settlement, so that you don't have that little bar that creeps up on you, and you can just keep building and building and building. There are some locations, like in the DLC, where this does not work. That's where the cheat terminal comes in. You can basically make that menu go all the way down. You can like quadruple 16 times, however many times you want the size of it, so that you can just keep building inside your borders there as much stuff as you want. Zabrina's workshop. Not 100% necessary. I do use it every now and again, but that is a fun mod there. Workshop decorations pack, absolutely needed. Awesome decorations in there. Woody's Wasteland, just so much fun stuff. Thematic and Practical, really good for lore type of furniture, let's say. We'll skip over that one. Snappy Housekit, I absolutely cannot live without Snappy Housekit. Get the DLCs too. This one is just basically any type of texture that exists in the game, like walls, bricks, wood, whatever, exists in here. This is how you can repair full settlements back to like the original pre-war if you wanted to do that. Settlement electricity overhaul. I love this. This was a recommendation a couple of years ago from one of you fantastic folks. This one makes it so that you have wireless power throughout the entire settlement. No longer have to run any kind of wiring or anything, and it's enough power that you can basically power everything times 10. Sandbag Fortifications is fantastic for getting all kinds of bunkers and whatnot. We will look at that as we get into the game. Scrap everything, fantastic mod. You have to be careful with this one. If your computer is not that great at playing the game to begin with, I would not recommend using this one because it does break pre-combines, and that can potentially slow things down for you. What is a pre-combine? Imagine you have like this big building in front of you. The game renders it as one giant piece, but when you break pre-combines, it actually breaks it down into the individual pieces, meaning each one of those has to be rendered individually. And so, yeah, if you don't have a good CPU and GPU, you can run into problems with that. All settlements extended, this just makes them bigger. OC Decorator, great for decorating. USO, fantastic program, mod, whatever, that gives you all kinds of extra stuff in the base menu. Hotchpotch, we will look at that one. There's just too much to try to explain for that one. Workshop framework, I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but it is something that I use, and I do recommend. I think it does help with like menu management as well as a general mod helper. I don't remember off the top of my head. Faster Workshop. So this is something that you folks asked about before, how I get in and out of my menu so quickly. This is what you want, Faster Workshop. I did have a different version of this before I was put into the next gen update. That one, basically same exact name, I think, Faster Workshop or something along those lines, and it was like insanely fast. Like as soon as you click the button, you were in and out. This one there is still a little delay, but nowhere near as bad as like the base game. This does allow you to get in, as it says, blindingly fast. I wouldn't say it's blindingly fast. The older version that I used for the older version of the game was 10 times faster than this one, but this is still really, really fast. This will allow you to get in and out super quick, so you're not sitting there sometimes waiting 30 seconds to a minute. Absolutely freaking terrible. Mod configuration menu. This is awesome. This allows you to configure the mod's settings directly in the game while you're playing, whether you're in workshop mode or not. This will allow you to change and tweak any of the settings. I have shown some of this, but we will actually go over that while you're playing. Kuro Tab, fantastic little guy for all kinds of extra stuff. We will look at that in the game. Kraggles, this is great for dirt, essentially. Insignificant object remover. I use this to gain back some of the frames that I lose from the Scrap Everything mod. This removes all kinds of extra stuff like grass that's not needed, extra rocks and pebbles and kelp and all that kind of stuff. Homemaker, great little mod. If you are playing on a monitor with a high refresh rate, this will help fix it for you. My monitor plays at 165 hertz, and if you play the game at that 165 hertz, everything gets sped up and just it's a mess. G2M, fantastic little mod for all kinds of assets. We will get into that. Filled weapons display, great for decorating. Floaties roads, you guys have asked me before a million times in the past how I got the pre-war sanctuary roads. That's the mod right there, Floaties roads. We'll visit that on Nexus. This one was super hard to find because I wanted something like this forever and ever, and I tried searching here on the website, couldn't find it. But if I did a Google search, boom, it finally popped up after like several years of trying to find roads. You have everything from grass to gravel to dirt, and then you actually have physical dirt roads themselves. Fantastic mod right there. That's pretty much self-explanatory. Knights of Shame, this is how I get the suits of armor and swords and axes and stuff. Fighter jet settlement object. This will get you little jets that you can actually put in your settlement, and they actually act as like kind of like guard towers. You can actually assign people into them, and they will sit in them. CVC, fantastic. We'll go over that when we get in there. We don't even need to go over that. Crafting workbenches. This will allow you to actually craft weapons and anything from scratch. Fantastic little mod there. That's pretty much self-explanatory. Build your own pool. That's how you get water, as well as SOE. This one's not too bad because this one actually, I think, has some better curved corners on them. I think SOE only has straight. Pretty much self-explanatory. Settlements, objects, expansion pack, fantastic mod. That's if you're a Stargate fan. Ring transporters. Long loading times fixed. This actually does help a little bit with keeping down your load times. Videos of the wasteland, fantastic if you want to have your TVs display more than just that still picture of the guy, the news reporter, or the please stand by. You can actually put some videos in there, and I've used this in the past with Betty Boop videos as well, which I'm actually having trouble getting to work right now. The add-ons, Starlight Drive-In and Theaters of the Wasteland, fantastic little add-ons. 2 videos of the Wasteland. It gives you the ability to build like full-on theaters as well as to display video on the Starlight Drive-In screen. Okay, so this one is a little bit of a surprise. This one I just added to my little plethora of mods here. This is actually going to give me the ability to generate new planes, and I think it's this one here actually allows me to fly one of these airplanes around the wasteland, which I have not tested yet, and I'm not going to do in this video because I don't want it to crash just in case anything goes wrong. So let's go ahead and jump right into the game now. You can see it's locking it up and it's getting ready to launch it. You have to make sure that you have Steam up and running beforehand, otherwise it's going to give you all kinds of problems, and it'll actually tell you, hey, do you want to launch Steam before you try to launch this? Just make sure that Steam is always running before you actually launch the game with mods. I've had it where it constantly resets my menu color and all my settings, like for the dialogue cameras and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so for those of you who have been with my channel for a while, you notice we are at my location here. This is 10 Pines Bluff. If you look on the upper left-hand side, there's some stuff that's loading up because this is an older save, and I've already added some new versions or new mods since then. So the faster workshop. So I'm going to push the button right now. Now, if you notice the flames right there in the fireplace freeze, and then boom, we are into it. So there you go. That's how fast that works. Now you can see me flying around here. This is Workshop Plus. This allows me to do that. Now we're going to hit start, and you see mod config. So this is the MCM Fallout mod configuration menu, and you have the mods here that are working with this mod and allow you to change all kinds of settings. So if we click on any one of them, you can see we have all these different options that we can check out, like kit selection. You can turn certain features off and on. Go back into this. We're going to go into Workshop Plus. So if we go down to options, then boom, we have all this stuff here. This makes it so that nobody can attack you while you are in workshop mode, and also makes you invisible so that if the bad guys do come, they won't be able to see you. Fly in workshop mode, that's basically what I'm doing right now. And same thing with all these other ones. There's all different types of things. We're not going to go through all of them just to keep things flowing as fast as possible. But it is a huge helper to something that I was aware of for quite a while, but kept putting off because I just wanted to keep using my little jetpack thing, because I wanted to show people that, if you don't use something like this, or you're building on console, like, you do have the ability to essentially fly around. It just isn't as easy as this. So the other mod that I talked about, well, I talked about several, but the all settlements extended. As you can see, we have borders way the heck out here, and you actually can interact with and scrap all this stuff. And the vanilla borders basically end like right here, right up against that wall. That one hasn't really changed much, and this one down over here is back out this way as well. So you can see how much more room now we have to build. And in the past, when I built my castles up here, it was because of this mod that I had all this extra space to build up here. Now, one of the ones that I didn't talk about is S'more, because that one I got directly from Bethesda. This is an awesome little mod that has some really cool stuff in it. One of my favorite features is the NPC furniture. You can put something like this down and then direct one of your NPCs to go into it, and they will actually lay down in this coffin. I did a vampire build, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and I used this to do that. But there's other interactive things here, building the fire, chopping up the meat, etc., etc. So fantastic for that, and all kinds of other little goodies in here. Again, I'm not going to be going over every single one of them. New one to me that's been recommended to me so many times because I build a lot of castles is Master Plan and Castle in the Sky. This is going to be one of my new cannot live without mods, because you just have so many fantastic little castle textures in here of all different types of stuff. And the next time I do build a castle, I'm probably going to almost exclusively use this mod to try and do something. Along with the castle, there is, all these manor houses, basically good European, what do I want to say, like flavors, for lack of a better word, inspiration there. So that's a fun little guy right there. Now let's see, we also have, I had mentioned Woody's Wasteland and SOE. So we're going to skip over that because that's actually part of Kraggle's. Anytime I install it, it kind of messes with my menu in that sense. But SOE, awesome little mod. So if we go into the pool section, this is where I get all my water. So we'll go in here and we have all the different types of water, which of course now they're not going to display because my game's a little messed up at the moment. It's not too happy with me coming back into time. But anyway, yeah, you have all the different ones here. If you read the descriptions, we got ocean, river, there's murky, there's bloody water, there's all kinds of good stuff in there. Woody's Wasteland, one of the reasons that I initially downloaded this one is because of this, the fireplace bits. You have the pipes here, so you can run pipes as much as you want, and then you also have this guy, little smokestack. I absolutely love that and needed it. Then you have the fire barrel itself that has a fire in it. You can also have the wood logs here. The other fantastic one of this is when you come into walls, you have these nice windowed walls, which is a fantastic little thing. Very hard to find that without building it yourself in the actual vanilla game. The vanilla game, all you end up with is just like your standard windows like that, which is quite boring. But the other reason I want it is because of this. There's two different versions of this fireplace. You can build this guy here, and then you have the bottom piece so that if your cabin is up in the air a little bit and you need to reach the ground, you can do that. And then you can build this sucker as high as you want it, and then boom, put a stack right on top of it, and there you go. You got a full-on burning, smoking fireplace. Now, when I talk about fireplaces, there's also, well, we'll get to that in a second, but you have this little guy here. Awesome little things. Woody's Wasteland is just such a fantastic mod. So for their decorations, when I was talking about fireplaces, this is my burnable campfires. You got all kinds of campfires, then you also have fireplaces. I've used these a bunch of different times. They have different fronts to them, some with little cages on them. When I built my haunted house, I used these guys here with the little cages, and awesome, awesome mod. Okay, so the next mod is called Sandbag Fortification, and you will find this under defense, the regular defense, not the USO version. We come in here, we go to guard posts, and you'll see a couple of different mats here, a couple of chairs, nothing too spectacular until you start to get into stuff like this. You got concealed bunkers, which if we use Workshop Plus to, or sorry, Place Anywhere, one of those two, to bring this sucker down into the dirt, you can actually have a fully functional, semi-authentic bunker. If we can get the height just right on this, and come on in here. But anyway, there you go. Just stick something like that into the ground. Really, really cool. Again, if you're doing for kind of a military thing. You got these Czech hedgehogs. you know, type of stuff you would see like during World War II, etc. Then you got full-on fortified bunkers. I have used these in the past for this big military build I did, including this one that's got the guns from a tank matched into it and whatnot, as well as foxhole things. So you get that little guy right in there, and all kinds of different stuff. This is a really, really awesome mod for anybody willing or wanting, I should say, to do something really military-esque. You know, you can put something like this in here and get one of these guys on each side. Even snap some of these. They actually do snap together too, which is okay as long as you're on flat, but if you're on a bit of a slope, you're going to have to dip it down, which again, they do snap so that you can get yourself something like this that essentially creates this nice little walkway that will keep people into, you know, a set path, etc. But yeah, all kinds of really cool stuff in here. You got smaller versions of that, actual sandbags, some really big defensive pits and all kinds of stuff. Fantastic mod. This is one of the things that I use the most out of it, is these guys here, the watchtowers. So if we wanted to use one of these, we can just stick one there, stick it anywhere. Comes already equipped with its own sandbags, ladder, roof, everything. So super handy when you're trying to do something a little faster, or even great for inspiration to build something else. I have used this guy. Just be careful, because if you obviously delete it from anywhere when you're trying to work with it, you know, it's gone in one shot. So when you go to put furniture and stuff in there, try to be careful as much as you can. These dragons, I never use those. The barbed wire, yeah, these guys, you've seen me use these spiky thingies all the time. What else we got in here? Some nice camo stuff. Got little camo tents and so on and so forth. Just an all-around great mod for all military-esque builds. Alright, so the other mod that I'm going to show you is actually one that is not in build menu, the workshop menu. It is actually the cheat terminal. Now, when you first fire this up, when you're trying to find it, you know, you're going to start your game, you're going to be over here, you're going to go into inventory, and then over here to miscellaneous. They put it here in the parentheses so that you can get to it right off the bat. And when you first start it up, right after starting your game, you're actually going to see the character load in a holotape. And then this whole menu will pop up. Now, inside it, you have everything that you could possibly use in order to make the game just about anything you want when it comes to stats or setups, so on and so forth. Like, you come in here, you can enable all these different strength things. You can set your strength to 10, yada, yada, yada. If you come into, whoops, doodle, go into the perks, and then hit strength, you can pick the ones you want all one by one, or you can add them all or remove them all. Usually when I'm doing these settlement builds, I have to create a new character, I'll come in and do add all strength perks, add all blah 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 perks, all of them, every single one of them, so that everything is unlocked for me. What else do we have in here? You got cheats, you can complete quests, there's all kinds of stuff in here. Just get this mod, it's called the Cheat Terminal, and just play around with it. You got everything in here you could possibly want, infinite ammo, yada yada yada. When it comes to specifically to building, I'll go into game alterations and workshop manipulation and spawn settlers. And then what I was talking about before with the size manipulation. So right now, if I come into my build menu, it's going to show that the amount, or I should say the size, all the way up there in the upper right-hand side is already maxed out. Like, or I should say I have the full potential to build, even though I put all this stuff in here. That's the other mod that I use that gives me the ability to have basically an unlimited budget when it comes to building anything I want in here. But when you're in like some of the DLC areas, or if you cannot find that mod for whatever reason, you can come in here, game alterations, workshop manipulation, and size manipulation, and it says add 2 times the size of the workshop. You can even make it smaller if you wanted to challenge yourself. I'm never going to do that though, because I like to build a lot, but if you hit this button, it'll double whatever it is. So if like your menu, your little graph there is like halfway full, it'll suddenly get cut in half, and if you keep hitting it, it'll eventually revert back to 0. So whenever I'm doing something like that, where like the build, for example, that I'm doing right now in Far Harbor, it's that mod doesn't work for it, so I use this one to fix it. Same thing, I can suddenly make the entire settlement have 100% happiness or 0% happiness, so on and so forth. There's just so much into this. You can spawn NPCs, spawn followers, etc. All kinds of good stuff. So definitely a highly recommended mod. If you don't know how to do this to zoom in on your thing, it's the same button you use to get into third person or to access the workshop mode once you bring up your Pip-Boy. You can just push that button and boom, you zoom right in. So there's a nice little quick tip for those of you who did not know something like that. Alright, next up we have Workshop Decorations Pack. You'll see that show up as WDP under your decorations. So if you come in here, it's broken down to several different categories, and each one has its own types of decorations that of course go with those categories, duh. You come in here for the vendors, you have all these awesome makeshift vendor counters, etc. All kinds of extra stuff actually in them versus the vanilla ones that have these things just completely empty, which I don't understand again why Bethesda went in that direction, especially since it's really hard to actually get items into those spaces without them like falling all over the place, and the next time you spawn into the game and your location, they will just end up falling out, and you know, it's just such a pain in the butt. But you have all these different shelves with different types of clothing, etc., for all different types of stuff, food and drink. I've used these a million times in my builds. Garage stuff, really anything you could think of. Gardening stuff, I love this for like when I'm over here and I'm building my greenhouse, etc. Adding these in here really gives a sense that, like, you know, this is lived in and people are actually growing stuff and so on. The graves thing, you know, is just some simple basic stuff. We do have other decorations in USO that actually gives you like the headstones, which we've also seen, I think, in CVC. The interrogation stuff is actually pretty cool. You can put up these crucifixes. You got a nice little electrified bed. What is this, like the Iron Maiden, essentially, and other interrogation frame. And then, of course, you have the gallows and all kinds of stuff. Waterboarding, very bad. Living quarters stuff, medical, yada yada yada. All kinds of excellent decorations, especially when it comes to like the weapons stuff. Like these are super handy, like when you build an armory or a guard tower, and you want to throw some stuff in real quick. Stuck on. Really, what am I stuck on? Huh. For some reason I can't get over there. That's really weird. Okay, so that's broken. But you know, if this was like a closed off guard tower, etc., like a little hut, boom, there you go. You got instant decorations. I mean, obviously you can't touch any of them, but it looks really neat. So yeah, workshop decoration packs just full of tons and tons of good stuff, especially the guns, whatever. You know, it makes it look like you got plenty of everything. Oh, and you know, toys, little miniature versions. So a little bit of something for everybody. Alright, so in the menu, I had mentioned that I now have the ability to build planes, and I'm not talking about these guys here, which I already showcased, but I'm talking about the other one that I said that I can build and also fly. Now, I'm not going to fly, like I said, because I have not tested it yet, but look at this. You can actually build a full-on passenger plane, like that guy right there. And using the one mod, you can fly one of these. You have to actually type in a console command that'll bring it up, and you can actually fly it around the entire wasteland. I think the only thing it says in the mod is that the propellers don't spin. Sadly, they did not add an animation for that. I really wish they had, and I have not tested it to see how stable it is, but it is really cool that you can build this. It does end up in your structures and your metal and your prefabs. You come in here, you have the doors. Now, sadly, these don't snap. Why, I don't know, and you're going to be here forever trying to line these up perfectly, and it's just never going to happen. Why they decided not to do that feature, I have no idea. That's, I don't know, To me, that's just odd. But you have two different versions of the plane there. You got that guy there, and then you got this one here with the wings that fold up and fold down at the same time. Not 100% sure I like that design. That just doesn't seem realistic to me. I know there are planes that exist that have that, but I don't know. And then you also, of course, have the individual parts if you wanted to try to build your own. This is also great if you wanted to build like a settlement at an old airplane boneyard. You can put your basic cockpit, fuselage, whatever you want in here. And then if you wanted to add like maybe just one side that has a wing on it and not the other, you could throw something like that together. And again, I really wish they snapped, because it would just look so much better instead of sitting here having to waste, probably a good like 10, 15, 20 minutes or so just to try and get these suckers to line up. But again, that's really cool. Like, look at that. I mean, even still, I could turn this into like a dual plane. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, we can build our own dual plane like this. Get another one with just the cockpit. I keep wanting to say canopy. Get rid of this guy. Let's throw another one of these in here just to play around for a few seconds. We'll stick that there. We'll get a good wing section here. Maybe we'll do one on each side. There we go. And we'll overlap these at some point or something. Find some sort of middle ground. Like, yeah, like right where that thing is or something. Who knows? Yeah, you put that in there. Then you got this guy way the heck over here. Oh, look at that. You got yourself like a big old giant monster of an airplane. Fun stuff. This is something that's new to me that's not exactly necessarily a must-have mod, but this is just something, like I said, that I just found and thought was really cool, so I figured I would showcase it here so that you guys can check it out. So we're going to go ahead and skip through the USO. Now, USO is going to end up looking exactly the same as your base menu, but it's going to give you so many other features. It's going to unlock new textures. It's going to give you way more furniture options, lighting options, etc. Too much to really go through. One of the best things is the NPC stuff. You can build people, essentially, children, guards, merchants. Merchants, I find, never really seem to work for me, though. I build them and then I stick them somewhere and then they just wander off. And you can still interact with them to buy stuff from them, but it's just not the same. Videos of the wasteland. So when I was talking about this one before, we have things like this. Like now you can build, when you put the add-ons in, you can build a store. So you can sell some rad corn here, ice cream, and we have furniture, structures, all kinds of stuff. So like I said, you can actually build a full-on movie theater, all these different options, etc. So yeah, it's a good, fun little mod, and I love having the extra videos in there. You got posters, all kinds of extra decorations, even got glowing neon and signs for the theater itself. So it's definitely one of those ones that you want to check out if you want something a little more exciting, a little something different. Oh, I don't have any corn, so I can't build any popcorn. But yeah, awesome mod. CVC is definitely one of my all-time favorites. This is one that I cannot live without anymore. This one just has so many good features to it, but especially this, the CVC Deadlands. Getting these trees, like these big clusters of dead trees, like if you're trying to create like a horror type theme and whatnot, like I did with my horror film, which by the way is still out there, so if you're looking for something spooky to watch for Halloween, there you go. But yeah, look at these bad boys. Like you just stick a bunch of these in like one general area and boom, you've instantly got like a haunted forest look to it. And there's so much more in here. You got fungus, all kinds of different plants, grass, logs, stumps. These cliffs come in really, really handy if you're trying to build up the ground around you. You know, you get to a section where, say you have like a dip like this that's going to mess things up. You just come in here and, oh, we're out of bounds. That's why. Sorry. You just come in here and we'll drop something like that in there, and boom, now you got a whole new cliff that you can build on. So super, super handy with all these types of things. Dead animals, that's your thing, guys, from spikes and hooks and whatnot. So one of these ones that, like I said, I absolutely cannot live without. And there's so much stuff in here that I haven't even touched yet. that are in here that are helpful, but I'm just always using the same old stuff over and over again because they're just fantastic. And every once in a while, when I'm dipping through here, checking this and that out, I find all kinds of new and exciting things to use. You know, if you're trying to get more of a wrecked settlement that, you know, looks like an actual wasteland, you can throw a whole bunch of these guys in here and get yourself what looks like... Oops, we don't want to scrap that. Boom. All of a sudden now you've got an old building sitting here that's been, you know, fallen apart for 200 years, etc. All kinds of really good stuff in there. Again, way too much stuff to even go through. Fantastic fences. There's even fences that have slopes to them. Super, super handy when you're building on inclines, which I happen to be doing all the time. And for some reason, Bethesda never thought of doing something like this on their own. And there's different degrees as to how much this fence will slope up and down. So super handy when trying to build a fence that works like it should. See, look at that. Let me drop that guy in there. And we're just going to get rid of that tree so that we can go down the opposite direction. So we're going to put that down and we can just continue following that slope. And this slopes even more, so we'll slope down even more along with it. And just like that, you've got a nice fence that follows that little curved hill right there. So CVC is definitely a must-have. Now, Thematic and Practical come in here, and this just has all kinds of perfect furniture that just screams like absolute wasteland. You got a little bunk bed here that you can build. Not exactly a wasteland thing, but it looks really cool. All these other different types of beds, even some nasty dirty pillows, sleeping bags, and that's just the sleeping stuff. You got sitting furniture. Come in here. Again, look at that. That's the type of thing that if you were living in a wasteland, this is exactly what you'd build. Find an old crate, a couple of little slats of wood, boom, instant furniture. Now, Snappy is my all-time favorite. Like I was saying before with the menu, like you just have every single type of building that exists inside this game, you can build. You have all the different pieces here, all the different filler pieces for the roofs, the floors, etc. We got our nice little curve right there so we can come back around. You even got little towers sections here for building all kinds of stuff. You even have these guys, like, they just snap into place too. Like, say you want one that's partially open, boom, you got it. Bunker Hill, you can build an entire building all yourself. This guy comes in super handy. Like, say you want to build Mount Olympus or something. And right there, you just saw my little idiot savant guy popped up with no sound effects. I hate the sound effect for that. But yeah, you can go to Bunker Hill and rebuild that entire building from scratch if you wanted to. Just such a fantastic mod. The church, this is the stuff that I've used numerous times to build not just my churches, but my castles. The roof sections are really, really cool. You got everything in here. This is how you, come into here, build your basic houses. You get some starters, or you can build everything from scratch. Everything. The other fantastic thing about this is that you have glass as well. All these different types of glass that you can stick into certain things. You can see it's snapping here, but it's snapping into the door as well as the window. But all these different types of glass, dirty glass, clear, clean, new glass, etc. The stuff you might see in the Institute. Along with that, one of my favorite stuff to use is the wallpapers. There's lots of times when I'm building something and I want to change the look of the walls. You can do this. This will actually stick to the surface of the walls. It's not going to do it here because it's not meant to, but it will actually stick to the walls, and you can actually create brand new interiors as well as exteriors. You can change the exterior color of your building, different type of woods, brick, etc. It's just such a fantastic mod. And you also have the same thing for your floors for different types of carpets, and it's got something for all the different sizes and shapes. Comes in super, super handy. So when it comes to landscaping as well, you have all these different options in here. You got different types of grass and gardens. I use this all the time when I'm building something that I want like a lot of really nice looking grass. You got the faker looking grass here, but this one to me is one of my favorites when I'm making something that looks really, really nice. You also have sloped pieces and whatnot, so you can kind of move along with your landscape there. There's also all kinds of different mounds, as well as you have a pond. You can build a nice little pond in here. We can go ahead and snap that guy in there, and then you got your middle pieces. Of course, you want them to snap to each other. There we go. So, and of course, you see me building here in the middle of the air. This is the Place Anywhere mod that allows you to do this so that you can build anything you want at any location. So there we go. We got ourselves a nice little big pond there right in the middle of the sky. We've got walls, fences. Like, this is just such a fantastic mod that gives you so much stuff. When I mentioned before about adding the DLC, that comes down to this here. It gives you the Far Harbor Hotel. So you can get all these nice fun textures, walls, these guys here. Just so much awesome stuff in there. Homemaker, which I often call Home Wrecker. It's very similar to CVC. You got a whole bunch of different things in here. Mostly from what I go into here is like a lot of these pre-built stuff, shipping containers, the different miscellaneous objects, etc. I don't use it as much as I do others, but it's a fantastic mod that you definitely want to check out. Kraggles. Now, for Kraggles, as I said before, like also appears in the other section of my menu. Don't really know why, but it does. This offers you different sections of the piers. So you got little things like this, you know, a little half messed up bit of, there we go, a walkway, etc. As well as, come back in here, we have these guys here. All these different wall sections with and without the wood supports. Stairs. It's not bad, this offering, but I think G2M definitely has better pier selection. The only thing I really like about it that G2M does not have is these guys here, these walls. For whatever reason, G2M does not offer that. So, but Kraggles, the main reason I use it is for this. You have all these different wood, or I'm sorry, not wood, but different types of ground texture. So this is the default terrain. You have cracked mud. You have regular dirt, which to me looks more like stone, looks more like granite, but whatever. You got your regular dirt path, dried grass, forest floor, gravel, one of my favorites, marsh ground, marsh mud. Now, the only thing that I don't like about it is that I do like it, but I don't, is that it has a nice wavy texture to it. But when you look at these, when you're putting them together, they overlap in kind of very funny ways. And so a lot of times when I'm putting these down, I end up putting like grass mounds, or I will overlap several ones on top of each other to kind of make them look better. So it is an awesome mod, but it does have its shortcomings, like I said, with the way these things get wavy towards the edges. They don't really match up in a specific pattern that makes them flow together perfectly, and so you end up with all these like jagged straight lines like that you wouldn't really see. So it doesn't look as fluid and natural as it should. Kuro Tab, fantastic mod. This just has so many really cool things in it. You have your basic wall sections with different colors. Some of my favorites, the corrugated metal, etc. This is where you're going to find a lot of nitty-gritty stuff, is what I want to call it. But let's go ahead and go into the metal textures. We're going to come down here to the corrugated. This is like my favorite because these just look so cool. Like, this is the type of stuff that I would be finding out in the wasteland. Like all these little guys here, if you just want to like lay something on top of something and you have like a tiny little bit of an incline, let's say we wanted to like skip over the mud, you can create a path with these guys. Like, just shove these on here. one on top of the other. And boom, next thing you know, you've got yourself a nice little walking path. Or if you're trying to cover up holes in the roof, etc., it works. And you got all these different bended edges on them, little slopes to them. They work perfect for, you know, slight inclines, etc. There's just so much in here that I just don't have the time to showcase it all. But if you want to make something that looks like a settlement that's being built, you can put some of these like pre-started walls in here like that, so you got some framework, etc. All different types of colors too, and you even got some nice little curved sections. But this is just such an awesome mod. There's just way too much in here to really go through every last bit of it. New junk walls, just so much stuff. Sadly, one of the things that I don't like about it is that not all the pieces snap like this. Like this, in this case, they are snapping to each other, but there are so many instances where they don't, with like some of the really, really big things. Like, let's see if these guys snap. Of course, these do. But there are other things that, like, you can try to build. Like, I think there's even the option to build the elevators from the vaults in here, and they don't snap together, which makes it really, really difficult to try to make something like that, because you have to try and line it up, and they don't function, unfortunately. One of the things that I use the most for this is the signs. If I want to make my own custom sign, I can get a nice little background like that to work with, and then we're going to go into custom signs, and then get your lettering, and then you can write whatever the heck you want all over this sign. Different types of paint. There's even like some lit up letters, etc. Just, it's super handy for doing that kind of stuff. Now, Hotchpotch is one of the newer ones to me within like the last year or so. I discovered it for some feature that I needed, but this is just such an awesome little mod that has all these different types of floor sections. You have your normal square ones, and then you have all these awesome round ones. So if you wanted to build a whole bunch of towers, because there are matching walls and roofs and everything. So we go ahead and we put that in there. Now we're going to come into walls. Let's sew into curved walls. Now we have a really tight curve, so we're going to have to find the tight curved wall sections here. We're going to zip on through all these. There we go. Now we've got our matching walls, which of course aren't going to snap for me. There we go. So we can go ahead and build ourselves a little tower here. I think, yeah, there's even a little door section as well. So now we have that. And if we come back into roofs, we have, let's go into metal. And we're going to go into round roofs. You got big giant ones like that. Keep zipping on through these. Then you got these guys here. Those are still too big. Nope, we don't have a matching one for that. So, but anyway, you get the basic idea of the little things like this that you can do. But yeah, this is such a handy one. I use this one all the time when I'm building like my castles, because there's just so much cool stuff in here. If we go back into the wall sections, and we're going to go into the church stone and the standard, look at that. You got these nice, awesome doorways that just scream church, not that, or church, castle, not that guy, but you get the basic idea. And there's also matching doors for that one with the archway there. So if we go out of that and go into doors, obviously, unfortunately, these are not broken up into categories of things like wood or metal or anything. You just have to scroll through all of them to get to the ones that you want. Kind of unfortunate, but at the same time, you get to see all the different types of doors that are available. So we'll just keep on zipping all the way down to, yeah, even these are doors. Look at that. You even have an auto close. That's the other awesome feature about these doors, is that you have a basic door, and then you also have a door that allows you to have auto close, so that if you or an NPC opens them, they will automatically close afterwards. Along with that, you also have different vehicle sections. Like you can build a monorail if you wanted to. There's all the different parts that connect to it. So if you wanted to build one from scratch, and of course, that's not going to snap into place. We need... Okay, there. Come on. Snap. That's one of the things about this mod, is that it doesn't always There we go. Cooperate when you're trying to snap pieces together. So there you go. You can build all kinds of custom stuff in there. The monorail, you got railway, industrial, trucks, buses, all kinds of good fun stuff in here. Vertibirds, military. You can build your own tank from scratch, etc. So if you're looking for something that has a little bit of everything, minus the decorations aren't that fantastic, this is going to be your mod right here. Now, Creative Clutter. What can I say about Creative Clutter? This one I didn't mention before because I got this one directly off of the game itself, you know, from Bethesda, I wanted to call it. Fantastic mod for decorations, and that's basically all I ever use it for, and that's really all it is for, is decorating. Like, there's some good furniture in here, but, you know, you get, little guys like this. This is what I'm talking about. Like these pre-filled ones, they're so cool. Makes things a lot easier to just plop these in and have it look like a nice, good lived-in space. There's a little bit of everything in here for pretty much any room of a house that you could think of. Bedroom, bathroom, so on and so forth. As well as toys, workshop stuff. So if you wanted to have like boxes full of tools and guns and whatever, fantastic little mod for that. Light and power, you also have really awesome lights that I've used before in the past. Um, yeah, for decorating needs, this is definitely a must-have. Zabrina's Workshop. So this is the one that I mentioned that like I always put in, but I don't use too often. The reason why I went with this one is a couple of different reasons. Here we have this guy here. This is a crane bridge that when you have power going to your settlement, you can actually activate this, and this bridge section will move up and down for you. There's also this door. Again, as long as you have power going to your settlement, you can make this door open and close. This is the door from the castle. Ladders, I have ladders here. I don't recommend using them, other than just for decorations, because you actually can climb the ladders, but every time you do, it creates a load screen, because that's the way that ladders work in Fallout 4. Is when you go to climb in and out, like say out of a bunker or something, you instantly get into a load screen, and then it teleports you above. So if you use this and you start here, it's going to teleport you up to here. But you have to go through the load screen in order to do it. So it's not exactly the greatest thing in the world, but you know, it is what it is. This was one of my other favorites, was the fact that you can actually build the elevator from the quarry. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to come on over here. And these do snap together, so you can just plop these all the way down here. Throw your elevator in here somewhere. There we go. We'll just randomly throw it in there. And then you get buttons for this. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this button right there. And it's going to ask if you want to link it. So we're going to click yes. And now if we come down here, click that button, nothing's going to happen. Oh, I forgot to actually link the button, so we'll have to change that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to scrap that, and we're going to create a new one. We're going to click yes, and then I think if you grab onto that, I think that's how that works. There we go. Now we have a fully functional elevator. You just got to be careful when you're putting down your bottom sections here because of that. It's got to go to essentially where this button is, and it'll keep going until it stops when it reaches a certain spot. So we're going to go ahead and climb the elevator, and that's going to take us up to this guy here probably. Yeah. And if you make extra floors, I think it actually puts extra stops as well, so you can pick which floor you want to go down to. Yeah, see, that's the top floor there. So now if I push this one again, we'll end up going all the way back down again. So yeah, that's essentially what I use that mod for, is the awesome elevators and that bridge right up there. Now, G2M is one of my new favorites as well. This is one of the ones that I just discovered within like the last year or so. And this one comes in handy if you want to build like your sunshine cabins. You got all the different pieces here for that as well. I use this one all the time for these sections of floors. You not only have the flat ones with all the different sizes, but you also have turns. And then over here you have different slopes as well for all the different sizes. So that comes in very, very handy for times when you don't want to keep using the stairs, railings, obviously. Different types of stairs from large ones all the way down to the little itty bitty guys. Same miscellaneous pieces as before, but what I was talking about before with the other one was these supports. We didn't have those walls. We just have these guys, the wooden sections, which aren't bad, but there are times when I do want that wall, and unfortunately I'll have to use the other mod to go in and get that same look. Different wood floor sections I don't use too often. Sometimes I'll use some of the bridge pieces. Really cool that these guys are in here. I've used these in the past. You got nice slopes in here. There's also just a rowboat bridge if you want to use something like that. Just so many little tiny things in here. This is one of the first reasons I actually downloaded this mod is because I saw these stairs and I absolutely had to have them. You can put these guys here and connect them and just keep going and going and going, and you just got to make sure that they are actually connected at the right spots, because they will sometimes just randomly connect at different spots. But this is just so awesome. I always wanted something like this in the game because there were so many times when I didn't have room for a full set of stairs, and now I do because I can just simply put these guys in here. And there's different sizes too. This one's a bit more gradual as compared to these. You have your left and right facing. Same with this, left and right facing. That's exactly perfect for so many different things. And like I said, this is what drew me to this mod to begin with. And then once I started looking in it, I found all these amazing different things. Yeah, your basic beds, decorations. The power stuff is really, really cool. These are the ghoul lights. You drop this in here, and there we go. This guy is actually supposed to be up here in the cage. These act as lights for your settlement. So we'll go ahead and we'll just randomly put this one there. And of course, for whatever reason though, the ghouls don't spawn in it. Not all the time anyway, and a lot of times too when you do leave the settlement and come back, they'll be standing outside of the cage. The good thing is that they do not run away. But they do give off quite a bit of light, so it is actually pretty cool and pretty functional. The other reason I got this is because of this, the fish farm stuff. So we're going to come in here, and if you have water, you just dip this guy in here, and then boom, you instantly have fish. Of course, we don't have any water at the moment, but when you use other things like SOE and whatnot to actually build water, or if you're building on a settlement where there is water, you have this guy here. Just so many cool things in this mod. Lots of stuff too that I never ever use, like the contraption stuff, the Nuka World. This is actually really awesome. I used this wall to build around Sanctuary, to make Sanctuary City, I don't know, not too long ago when I built an entire city, I mean a whole entire place. Super handy because they do connect to each other, and there is also these nice sloped pieces as well as the curved pieces. Here we go. So if you're trying to get a nice big giant curved wall here connected, bring this guy over so we can actually see where there's the edge. Oops, where'd it go? There we go. So yeah, you got the big curve section. Now the only funny thing is when you go to pick one of these up and move them, they pivot on one corner, one edge, and for this one it's this one. So I pick this up and you see like it won't just spin centrally like every other piece does. Like so if I go to pick up this piece, it just spins on its own axis. This one spins off of the corner there. So be prepared for that if you go to use that this mod to build these types of walls, etc. It can be kind of daunting to try and work with something like that, so just be prepared. And there you have it. That's basically the mods that I have that I cannot live without. Again, there's just so much stuff that I cannot go through every single one of them, but we'd be here forever. So that's also part of the fun, is that now you see what some of these mods have to offer. Get them, go explore, have fun with them, and here we go.
I need to assign someone to this.
Boom, look at this. I am inside this. So if I come, let's see, out. Oh, no, well, anyway. You get the basic idea. You can assign your settlers so that they will sit in this thing.
I need to assign
And
someone.
we're actually going to go to toggle free cam. So there we go. Now you can actually see there's my character sitting in there pretending like he's actually going to fly. Yeah, but you can't. You can't really do anything with these. I don't even know if they like shoot or something when like bad guys come around because I've never actually put my guys in there. I think I did once, but I never had any bad guys come and attack. So it is what it is. But it's such an awesome little thing to have, especially if you're building a military base. You can put your guys in there. Um, there are two different versions of that. This one has the wheels. There's one that does not have the wheels. So we're going to go ahead and come up in the air, and there's this guy, which I guess essentially you probably could put a settler in here, but I don't know if the game would glitch them in place. But you can, you know, use like a statue or something to make it look like somebody's in here and flying. And in the past too, I've also put fire coming out of the backs of these, so it actually looks like they are flying. So yeah, fun stuff. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this little mod episode. Hopefully this answers a lot of questions for you folks as to, you know, what I'm using, how I use it, what are my favorites, and what are absolute necessities, so on and so forth. Yeah, if you got any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will be happy to answer them. And yeah, if there's a certain mod that you know of that you think I should be using that could benefit me in any kind of way with all my settlement buildings, please let me know and I will definitely check them out. A lot of the ones that I have are because of recommendations from you folks. So yeah, there you go. All right, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Until then, don't get irradiated.